Mangalsutra, Muslims, Maoists. These three keywords have come to represent the BJP's recent election campaign. If you remember, the current Lok Sabha election campaigning of the BJP and Prime Minister Narendra Modi had begun with shiny phrases like Ab ki baar 400 par and Viksit Bharat 2047. But what happened in between? What triggered the Prime Minister to invoke Mangalsutra, which is the sacred Hindu marital necklace, or call Muslims infiltrators and accuse the Congress manifesto of promoting Maoist thinking? Hello, and this is Frontline Conversations. So far in the 2024 Lok Sabha election, close to 190 seats have gone to the polls across the first two phases out of a total 7. Already, we have witnessed different narratives unfold before us. Following the second phase on April 26, two interviews of Narendra Modi, one with a national daily and another with a news channel, have become talking points. In both interviews, PM Modi continued his attack on the opposition and made claims regarding the Congress manifesto, reservation policies, alleged misuse of central agencies to harass the opposition, contentious issues such as Article 370 and the Citizenship Amendment Act or CAA, among others. Meanwhile, the Congress seems to be sticking to its social justice plank, focusing on spreading the word about its 5 Nyays or justice planks and 25 guarantees to counter the BJP's Modi ki guarantee or Modi's guarantee. So, who is prevailing in this battle of narratives? Joining me today to address these questions is R.K. Radhakrishnan, Senior Associate Editor at Frontline. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for the opportunity.
First up, what's your take on the BJP's campaign strategies, given the mixed reactions and accusations of communal rhetoric against top leaders, including the Prime Minister?
The Prime Minister started his campaign virtually from Tamil Nadu on January 1st. He made it a point to say that I am with Tamil people, I am here for your development and whatnot. And then there was a lot of development rhetoric happening at that point of time. Prime Minister talked about a fully developed India by 2047. That is the 100th year of independence. He talked about several things, which were basically, he said, going by the kind of development that the BJP has done over the past 10 years, they will get up ki bar 400 par, that they will get 400 seats out of the 543 seats in Parliament, to which there is, and in the Lok Sabha where there is contest happening this point of time. And then we see the end of the first phase, the polling was slow, and then the Prime Minister completely shifts his focus to Mullah and Muslims and the Yam question, so to speak. And there, I think, is where probably we notice for the first time that the BJP is panicking, that the first round did not go well as far as it is concerned. Obviously, the first round is a place where a lot of non-BJP seats went into polls, including Tamil Nadu, where they have not won a seat in nearly a decade. The last time they won was 2014, just one seat in Kanyakumari. Again, the second phase too, what we saw, again, despite this divisive rhetoric, again, the 20 seats from Kerala, 14 seats from Karnataka going to the polls at that particular phase. Again, what we see in the third phase is this kind of divisive rhetoric coming to the fore again. Now, what has happened in this interim is that the BJP campaign managers have decided that their campaign on development, Viksit Bharat, and the other development-centered narratives is possibly not working on the ground. They went back to their bread and butter. They went back to their basics, which basically is Hindu Khatre mein hai, that the Hindu is in danger, and that Hindu, that is the 80% of Hindus in India, have to be protected from the 20% of Muslims and minorities in this country. And that is the rhetoric they've been following. And that is exactly what we see, the kind of rhetoric coming from Yogi Adityanath, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, who again spoke about this particular divisive tactic. And again, he has already talked about 80 and 20 in the last elections as well. We see a whole host of BJP leaders parroting this very same rhetoric as in, majority community, trying to pit the majority community against the minority community. And I think it's going to get a very, very lot worse.
Prime Minister Modi has defended his critique of the Congress manifesto by accusing the media of biased reporting, and he has condemned its Maoist ideology. He's also charged the Congress with introducing religious quotas, citing a statement by former PM Manmohan Singh. How do you view these assertions?
It is very clear what Manmohan Singh said in 2006, that who should have the first, say in resources of this country? It should be the oppressed, it should be the women, it should be the children, it should be the minorities. So he said a whole lot of things. He just did not mean Muslims or minorities. He just said anybody who is oppressed should have the first say. And it's a very long statement. It is there out in the open. Prime Minister is intentionally lying when he talks about Manmohan Singh and the 2006 statement. You come to the later era, you look at the Congress manifesto. Nowhere does it say that Congress is going to take away, the property of, Aam Janata and give it to the Muslims. And this is exactly what the Prime Minister said in Rajasthan. We have spoken about it also. And he goes to Munger and says something like, in Bihar, and says something like, your Mangal Sutras will be taken away and it will be given away to the Muslim community. Now, who spoke about Mangal Sutras? Who has spoken about this particular aspect? That is the gold in your homes. It is Atal Bihari Vajpayee on August 5, 1991 has spoken about taking the gold that is available in homes so that we can get over our balance of payments crisis in 1991. And Manmohan Singh was there in Parliament. And Manmohan Singh at that point of time was the finance minister. Narasimha Rao was the prime minister of the country. Atal Bihari Vajpayee said something to the effect that there are about 10,000 tons of gold in houses in India, and at least 5,000 tons of those is illegal gold, which came via the black market routes into India. At least if we confiscate at least 2,000 tons of that, we will be able to generate about $25 billion, and that will be more than enough for our to tide our balance of payments crisis in the first place. So this is the kind of rhetoric that has gone from the BJP side. And again, when you talk about property laws, the 44th Amendment to the Indian Constitution came in 1978. In 1978, the Janata Party was in power. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was in power. The BJP was in power at that point of time. Advani ji was in power at that point of time. So, in a ministry which had Lal Kishan Advani and Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the 44th Amendment basically says that takes away the right to property from being a fundamental right. It is made a legal right. This was done during the time of when BJP was in power. So, what is BJP talking about? Who took away the right to property from being a fundamental right to being a legal right? It is the BJP which did it. It's a Janata Party government which did that. Now, this is the essential problem, is that we do not take the time and the pain to go through parliamentary records to figure out who said what at what point of time and what is relevant at what point of time. I think we should be very, very careful about anything that is uttered by a politician. We need to fact check every single politician.
The Prime Minister claims his government has created over 15 crore opportunities in 10 years, citing initiatives like Mudra loans and Startup India. How does this compare with his initial promise of creating 2 crore jobs annually?
The Prime Minister is shifting the goalpost. The Prime Minister talked about making pakodas. And that is one of the things that has become the biggest meme in this country. Jobless growth has been the defining feature of the past 10 years, wherein some big industrialists are growing bigger, and some of these people are getting into the Forbes list and becoming the number 1 richest person in the world, number 2 richest person in the world, and all of that. At the same time, the jobless growth is being seen everywhere, from the IITs, where hiring is not taking place at all, to the lowest level, where people from polytechnics are not finding jobs at all. Basically, what has happened is that demonetization crushed the Indian middle class, crushed the Indian industry, crushed the cottage industry and the SMEs. So from there, it is very, very difficult to revive, and we have been 6 years out of it, out of demonetization. November 8, 2016, we are out of that. But unfortunately, the economy at the lower levels has not progressed at all, has not been able to revive at all. So the question of creating jobs, the Prime Minister is saying that he is creating 15 crore opportunities. Where are the people who can avail of these opportunities? That becomes the essential problem. There are definitely Mudra loans. If you go to a bank, they'll give you 10,000 rupees. That is a Mudra loan. Now, the problem with a Mudra loan is that you can only do it as a very, very small entrepreneur. A big guy cannot go to the big guy in the sense that somebody who wants to run an SME wants 50 lakhs or 1 crore or whatever. There is a huge problem in accessing that kind of loans in the first place. Now, who can access the loans? You can only access loans in hundreds of crores, which is what a lot of these industrialists have been doing, and they've been running away, or they've been given massive write-offs, which we see to the extent of 15 lakh crores or something like that. And that is the essential problem in the economy, where the farmer's loan of, on a tractor for 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees is not waived. At the same time, the big guy, the corporate guy's loan is being waived and there is no action against him. If a small farmer defaults on a loan repayment, he is taken to task. His house is sealed, his house is taken away, or his land is taken away, or his tractor is taken away. At the same time, a big guy, big corporate guy doing anything wrong is never being put to task at all. He doesn't have any answers to give to any authority anywhere in India.
Prime Minister Modi contends that only a small fraction of ED and CBI cases, in the case of ED, he says it's 3%, and for CBI, he says it's 1 to 1.5%. ED and CBI cases target politicians, and he says that this disproves claims of political bias in these cases. Does this effectively counter the concerns regarding the independence of these institutions?
Prime Minister is right on one fact, that the number of PMLA cases which is filed against politicians is a very minuscule number. According to the Enforcement Directorate, of the 6,260 cases filed across nationwide, only 149 are against politicians. Now that constitutes only 2.3%. To that extent, what the Prime Minister is saying is fine. What the Prime Minister said later on is actually cause for concern. He actually replies in this particular interview that I've watched. First, not one case has been dropped. He responds to Rahul Joshi. Now the problem with that is that cases have been dropped. Case against Ajit Pawar, for instance, I can read out the details. Ajit Pawar, the Mumbai Police Economic Offences Wing, filed a closure report on October 2020. Now, when Ajit Pawar became part of the MVA, at that point of time, Uddhav Thackeray was the Chief Minister, and then Ajit Pawar was one of the critical ministers in that particular setup, and UBT, Shiv Sena, was a single party, NCP was a single party at that point of time. Now, what happened subsequently is that the moment Eknath Shinde quit Uddhav Thackeray, and then this entire mess takes place, and Shinde suddenly and miraculously becomes Chief Minister of Maharashtra, the case against Ajit Pawar is reopened. Now, the moment it is reopened, Ajit Pawar shifts back into the NDA fold, and he splits the party, NCP. His faction NCP, along with Praful Patel, he goes and joins with Shinde, and is now part of the government. Soon after that, ED case closes this case in March 2024 after he joins the NDA. This is one case. The other case is about Praful Patel. Praful Patel was taken to task for the amount of planes that he bought at one point of time for Air India. He was minister at that point of time, Minister of Civil Aviation. Now, the case was filed, I think, in 2017 or something, after the Supreme Court asked why a case was not been filed against Praful Patel. Now, the case against Praful Patel also, CBI has filed a closure report. So, when the Prime Minister says that not one case has been closed, he is lying. And if you look at the cases against politicians itself, as far as the data that we have now, 25 of these politicians, of the 149 that I mentioned, 25 politicians joined the BJP. What happened subsequently? Against 23 of these politicians, either the case has been closed or has been stalled. Against 20 politicians, the case has been stalled. Against 3 politicians, the case has been closed. And 10 of these people who joined the BJP are from the Congress. 4 each are from the NCP and the Shiv Sena. 3 from the Trinamool Congress. 2 from the TDP. 1 each from the SP and YSRCP. Now, why is it that only these cases are not proceeded against, and why is Arvind Kejriwal in jail in an ED case? Why is Sendil Balaji in jail for the past 10 months, and the court itself has to ask, what is this? Why is a charge sheet not being filed against this particular person? Why is a sand mining case? Sand mining is common across India. Why is a sand mining case, illegal sand mining case, how does it become an ED case? And why is it that the ED is saying we will start from May of 2021 when the DMK came into power? You mean to say that there has been no sand mining pre-May 2021? So you look at any of these things, it's very, very clear that the CBI, ED, DRI, IT have all been used as political tools to make sure that people join the BJP or leave the Congress or leave some other political party, and basically need to switch them off from the political parties they are in. The latest case is in Indore. where a case has been registered against the Congress candidate in a case which is about 17 years old. Attempt to murder charges are added, and the candidate suddenly drops out of the race and says he doesn't any longer want to be in the race. So Indore now becomes a free ride for the BJP. So we have seen that the BJP is using any and every tool possible across the board. And we have seen the electoral bonds case also. The moment you give electoral bonds, ED case is closed. The moment you give electoral bonds, you can come out of jail. The moment you give electoral bonds, you can also get projects. So this is the larger ecosystem or framework that we are seeing. And the Prime Minister, despite the fact that he has spoken about this in multiple places and claims that how can Arvind Kejriwal continue to be a chief minister, the problem with all of this is that, these people may be corrupt. But the problem is that law is being applied selectively and against only opposition politicians, and that in India is a huge issue.
In response to a question about the India bloc potentially repealing BJP laws, Modi has challenged the Congress to affirm that they would reinstate Article 370, although one of the question in this case was referring only to the CAA. He also stated that only after the abrogation of Article 370 did the Constitution fully apply to Jammu and Kashmir. Is this accurate?
I think the understanding of Constitution is not the strong point of the Prime Minister. We have made it very clear that religion cannot be the basis of a citizenship in India. Now, CAA, the Citizenship Amendment Act, makes religion the basis of your citizenship. Now, that is problematic. I am very sure that the Congress or any other political party which comes to power, barring the BJP, will definitely make sure that the CAA is repealed in the first place. 370, Kashmir was always part of India. Kashmir had some special provisions, just as Nagaland has, just as few other states in the northeast have. And those special provisions are being curtailed or taken away one after the other after it has been made into a union territory, and part of it becomes a state, part of it becomes a union territory. And as a result of that, what has happened? The kind of agitations that we have seen in Ladakh, the kind of agitations that we have seen in the valley, the kind of arrests that we have seen in the valley, it's almost like the entire Srinagar valley is a open air prison. It is almost like the entire Ladakh population at this point of time is under watch, and some extremely celebrated figures like Wangchuk, for instance, are being made to feel as if they are criminals. A march that he tried to take to prove that Chinese have encroached into Indian territory had to be curtailed because the government brought so much of pressure on him and the people who were trying to walk. So the entire Jammu and Kashmir area today is an extremely restless territory. I would concede that maybe till Udhampur from the Jammu part, maybe there is peace. It's a Hindu majority area. They would probably love what Narendra Modi is doing, but definitely not the Buddhists in Ladakh or the Muslims in the valley.
And finally, how the Congress and other opposition parties are countering this BJP campaign? Has it been effective? And do you see their narrative, resonate with voters on the ground?
I think a lot of these lies people themselves can discern. Now, the problem with an extremely absolutist power like Narendra Modi, who controls every organ of governance, who can call anybody to question, and he can throw out anybody and he can bring in anybody to government. The problem with somebody like that is that it is not just the opposition's fight. As M.K. Stalin said, and of course in some places where Rahul Gandhi also said, it is a second war for independence. And in a second war for independence, it is not just the political parties which are involved, the people who are involved. That is where we see somebody like a Dhruv Rathi coming up and trying to reach the Indian masses, so to speak, his own brethren, so to speak, which you also have interviewed. And that has become, each one of his videos are viral, and about 10 15 crore people watch his videos. That is where Ravish Kumar becomes important, because the thing is that most people cannot reach the Hindi heartland. Now, even a Rahul Gandhi cannot reach a Hindi heartland. Who is reaching the Hindi heartland today? It is people like this. It is a Dhruv Rathi who is reaching. It is a Ravish Kumar who is reaching. It's an Akash Banerjee who is reaching. These are the people. These are not people who are part of it. They are not political operatives. They are just calling out the government and Narendra Modi for who he is and all the lies that he has been spreading across the country. And that is, I think this is something like a fair fight, I would say. That is the civil society responses to what the BJP has been doing has been fantastic and fabulous. Now, BJP still has absolute control over WhatsApp. They have WhatsApp numbers of every single person in India. They can reach every single person in India. Now, what is the counter? The counter happens to be YouTube. YouTube is where your Rurati is there. YouTube is where Ravish is there, and all the other people who are fighting against this particular menace of misinformation, of trying to tell that the opposition, is unpatriotic and anti-national and all of that. That pushback is coming more from the people of India, civil society of India, than from the opposition itself.
Thank you so much, Akhil. That's all we have for you this time. For more such videos, please subscribe to Frontline's YouTube channel.